Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dietary Lifestyle Transformation. We are on week 9. Last week, we continued forward with improving our overall well being. We are continuing to optimize our diet, incorporating more whole foods, paying attention to the hunger scale, plating. We're intermittent fasting at this point, hopefully going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and most days of the week with our intermittent fasting. We're moving our bodies most days of the week, and we're improving our overall well-being by focusing in on our sleep, on our stress, on our ability to recognize emotions and what we really need. Maybe it's not food, maybe it is making a good choice if it is food. And then today, we are moving into creating some lasting lifestyle changes. With emotional eating, we talked about being more intentional with our eating, also paying attention to back to the hunger scale in regards to homeostatic eating, where we're paying attention to when we're hungry and when we're full. And we are taking this hedonic eating from being a large portion of this pie to a very minimal portion of the pie. Maybe we allow hedonic eating 10% of the time instead of this would be like 33% of the time. Also, when we're in a fasting mindset, we're thinking about the freedom from eating, the healing of the body, the reduction in cravings, and the control over our lifestyle. And then when we're in a feasting mindset, we're thinking of eating to nourish our body, finding foods that satisfy, finding balance, and then building on those choices. With our emotional mindset, we are recognizing the emotion, finding something that can meet the need, keeping options available that work, and choosing mindfully. All right, this week we are talking about being able to eat anywhere because this is a lifestyle that we want to be able to take to the restaurant or to a friend's house or to the holidays. I want you to think about the compounding effects of making a few high leverage disciplines that you practice every day. I like to call these non-negotiables. So the more that you do these, especially if you start your day with a non-negotiable, the easier it is to compound your high leverage disciplines and make them a habit that you practice every day. This could be waking up and getting some movement in for the day. This could be waking up and fasting for the day. This could be waking up with some meditation or getting a good night's sleep the night before to prepare your next day, really set your day up. And then there's also on the opposite side of this, a few errors in judgment that can be repeated every day that will ultimately result in some long-term results that we may not want. And this is where chronic disease can really come into play. And this is where chronic disease can really be reversed. It just depends on which way we go, right? So we could get a terrible night's sleep, wake up and not get any activity that morning, no movement, and then we're hungry because we didn't get enough sleep the night before, so we go ahead and eat breakfast. We feel like the day may have gotten started on the wrong foot, and we just keep going in that direction. We've all had those days. The more we can say yes to the plan, these are our plus signs. The more we can say yes, the easier it will be. The more we say no, the harder it will be to come back up into the positive side where we want to see results and where we want to be long term. The high leverage disciplines we can think about are preparing ahead of time. So if we're eating out, read the menu before you go. It's very overwhelming to show up to a restaurant, especially one you've never been to before, and have to scan the whole menu to figure out what works for you. So finding that out before you go can be really helpful, especially as other people around you are ordering off the menu and you're like, "Oh, that sounds so good too. You know what? I'm starving. I'm just gonna go for that." Be prepared when you walk in there and know exactly what you're gonna order, and it might even be helpful to order first so that you don't have to hear what everyone else is ordering. You already have your choice in. Also, you can prepare ahead of time by taking something with you. So whether it be for the holidays or at a friend's house, at a gathering, charcuterie board's a great thing you could take, where you could throw together some fruits, some veggies, some nuts, some cheese, something that works for you. Typically at gatherings, there is some sort of protein. So if you wanted to take a salad or a veggie, that could be really helpful in helping you build a plate when you get there. And then I want you to think about prioritizing the protein and the healthy fats, whether it be at a restaurant and you're trying to decide what to order off the menu, or if you're at a buffet, or like my family, it is like a buffet when you show up for holidays. It is casserole on casserole. I want you to look for the grilled meats, the fish, the salads, and the vegetables first, and then try to swap the carbohydrates out if possible for something else. Maybe it's a side of fruit, maybe it's a side salad, maybe it's a vegetable that you see on the menu. Try to swap the carbs out if you can. Try to try to if you are at the holidays and you're putting carbs on your plate, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. Try to save those for last too. So if there's something that you have to have at the holidays, maybe you just put a little bit of it on your plate so you don't have to miss out and go a whole nother year without trying so and so's mac and cheese or so and so's sweet potato casserole or whatever it is. And then remember that practice makes perfect. So you can go into the meal, you can go into Thanksgiving, you can go into Christmas with a goal in mind. You can go into the next restaurant with a goal in mind and try to learn something each time that you eat out, each time you go to another person's house for dinner. I want you to come up with some type of goal, and then I want you to learn something each time you do that and try to get better each time. It's never going to be perfect. Practice doesn't necessarily make perfect, but it will help us hone in on what works for us so that we can still enjoy the holidays. We can still enjoy going out to a restaurant. We can still live our life and incorporate this type of lifestyle. All right, so when I say things like, if you want to get the mac and cheese, save it for last, this is what I mean. So, a shout out to the Glucose Goddess. She's on Instagram if you want to follow her. Very interesting information on how we can eat certain foods in different ways and get a different glucose response. So, this is based on research. This idea of eating the protein and vegetables first, that's the blue line. This is the exact same meal. Let's say you got some turkey at Thanksgiving, you got a side of green beans, maybe you got what else? I didn't prepare ahead for this, did I? Turkey, green beans, maybe a side of corn, and then you also want to have the sweet potato casserole. Okay. Sweet potato casserole is going to be your much starchier side than corn and green beans and turkey. Why don't we make this simple? Turkey, green beans, and sweet potato casserole. There we go. All right. We eat the turkey and the green beans first. That's the blue line. Let's say you're so excited. You sit down to Thanksgiving dinner and you're very hungry, and you're going to eat the sweet potato casserole first. That's the yellow line. All right, and you can see how glucose has shot up on the yellow line and then how it dips way down. So when we talk about that roller coaster effect, that's what happens. Now, this person has eaten the turkey and green beans too, but they ate the sweet potatoes first. And that's what glucose does. Shoots up when you have the carbs first and then back down. Now, this person ate the green beans and the turkey first, and then the sweet potato, and this is what their glucose did. It stayed much more even. Now, why is this important? We have to take it all the way back to the beginning where we talked about how when our glucose rises, our fat storage turns on because insulin is released in the body. Fat storage is turned on. Whereas if we're at a more even level with our glucose, our fat storage is not turned on as much. All right. Another way I want you to think about holidays, vacations, weekends. Maybe you have these non-negotiables, but you have different types of non-negotiables. Maybe a red light day is you're on vacation. You decide you're gonna stick to 3 meals a day. You probably are gonna get some snacks, but when you do, they're gonna be healthy. You're gonna eat in order because you might get some carbs in while you're on vacation, but you're gonna eat the protein and the veggies first and then eat your carbs. And then last but not least, you're gonna have no regrets because life is about balance. We're not fasting all the time, and we're not eating all the time either. So we might have a red light day every now and then, and that's okay. You can come up with what your red light day is. And then we might have an in between day, a yellow light day. This might be a Saturday or Sunday where we're not having the snacks, but we might eat more meals than we typically do during the week. We might eat breakfast that day. It's Saturday. Gonna have breakfast. I'm still gonna eat in order. I'm gonna eat protein, veggies first, and then carbs. I'm gonna stick to whole foods. I might get some carbs in, but I'm going to keep them whole grain. And then I'm gonna make sure I get my water in too. Maybe that's a yellow day. What are your non-negotiables for a yellow type day or a weekend type day? You can think of it that way. And then a green light day. This is your perfect day on a day-to-day basis. This is what you're really aiming for. You're fasting 1 meal a day, you're eating whole foods, you're staying hydrated, and you're moving your body. Maybe that's a green light day. So I want you to think about finding flexibility in your day-to-day, your holidays, your weekends, your vacations. We do not have to go all the way off the train tracks just because the holiday is here. That Thursday of Thanksgiving could be a red light day. And then the next day, maybe it's yellow because you have some leftovers. And then we get back to green, ultimately. We're always going to get back to green. We're never going to turn the light all the way off. All right, so our goals this week are to continue fasting with whole foods, increase our overall well-being, whether you need more sleep, maybe you need more stress reducing activities. Maybe you need to focus in on your emotional eating and being more intentional with that. And then I want you to practice finding balance and flexibility because we do have holidays upon us. We're going to have a lot of opportunity to practice our flexibility. And flexibility means living life a little bit, but also coming back to the plan. All right, if you're traveling over the holidays, I want you to think about taking your time. We're rushing all the time, and we need to slow it down every once in a while. Take some conscious breaths, stop dead in your tracks long enough to notice where you actually are. Feel each step so your body always exists in the present, whereas your brain can travel very far from the present. If you're walking, notice that you're walking. If you are If you are talking with someone, really pay attention, and that's savoring the moment. If you're eating food, really taste it. If you're listening, give them your full attention. If you're looking at the sunrise, enjoy it. Sometimes we don't have to take a picture and post it on Instagram or Facebook of everything, and we can just take it in, relax, re reset, find some rest. Our lives are always governed by schedules, more than likely deadlines, news, a lot of information flooding us. Try to drink in something that is timeless and simply cannot be captured on a screen. This is good for the soul. And then bounce back. Oops, you completely lost it. That's okay. Things may get out of whack during the holidays. You might lose your peace. You may not feel good. You might get sick. It might rain. It might snow. We don't know. No biggie. Take a few minutes to sit quietly and notice your body, your breath. Hit the reset button and go aimlessly. All right. And then last but not least, I have how to eat on a low carb diet that I'm going to share with you. And I'll send you the link to this as well. Let's see. I'm going to make sure you can see this. Hold on one second. Nope. Not it. Here we go. All right, I'm going to send you this link on how to eat low carb when you're dining out. So I know I gave you some tips and information, but this is going to give you even more on ways to eliminate the starch, adding healthy fats at a restaurant, watching out for sauces and condiments, choosing drinks with care, rethinking dessert, getting creative. Also, what to do when you're at a buffet or a family gathering, at a friend's house, fast food restaurants. So you'll have lots of ideas on how to incorporate this type of lifestyle, even even when you are eating outside of your normal day to day. All right. Thank y'all for joining today, and I will be back with you next week. I look forward to it. Email me if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great week. Bye, everyone.